We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Do we have any comments from the guests? Sean? Finances.
Okay, in front of you, you have a report for the month of May. We received $16,548 of insurance reimbursement, prepayment, however you want to look at that. And then $212.56 of interest. So we got $16,760 that came in. We spent $10,950 on sidewalks. That was a light pole and then 4 weeks of regular maintenance. And then we had $5,500 towards planters, and that was repairing the cap. Paul's Construction working on the cap on one of those. So we spent $16,450, came out to the good $310. We have $123,459.54 in cash, and according to my records, we have about $80,000 we can still spend.
The insurance reimbursement we got, is that coincide with what we spent in March, or did we spend that over?
The report that I get for the insurance, just simply says insurance refunds. And I have no idea which properties they're tied to at this point. So it's $16,548. We had received about $5,500 earlier, which is what we then spent with Paul's on the cap. So I'm not sure if this was the release of the light pole money, which I thought came in a while ago.
Yeah.
So I'm not 100% certain as to the source of the funds.
But either way, it's reimbursement from something that's nothing that we're expected to spend.
No, it could very well be something where we've been prepaid on insurance that we're gonna have, just like the $5,500, we got it back in March, but we didn't spend it until.
Anytime we receive insurance funds, it's tied to one of those damage claims that we have. So we are going to be expecting that that's gonna go back out at some point. It's not going to be, I know that that amount is not going to be affiliated with the planter in front of the courthouse, because that we have not received yet. So it's either going to be, let me see if I get this right. It's either gonna be state and clay. I think we had one, we had the one on the northwest corner of Indiana and Lincoln Way, or state and clay, which I think we received funds for both. And so it's probably one of those, which, or both. It could be, or it could be both. We are expecting to receive, I was gonna talk about this in my report, but we are expecting to receive funds for the one in front of the courthouse, where the kid hit it with the landscaping truck. Yeah, that's since been repaired. We went ahead and did the repair, so that it was done in time for 4th of July, and it was also, it was major hazard. I mean, that people could have gotten hurt. So we were notified today that those funds are gonna be dispersed by the insurance company, so, but we went ahead and did the work. We just haven't gotten the bill yet.
What about the planter that's across from my restaurant?
On the east side,
Jackson Street and.
east side of Jackson, that's also one of them. So,
So you did get insurance money?
yes,
Okay.
we are either getting insurance money or that's part of it as well.
So, last we spoke, you said that was being removed?
Yes.
Okay. So, why don't we repair it if we're getting insurance money on it?
We have a choice of whether we remove or repair, and frankly, we are cutting back on the number of planters that we have. And in cases where we can remove them without them being, I guess, in too prominent location, we've been removing them, but certain cases we repair them. So the one on the corner of,
I mean, it's not bad structurally, I feel like it's just the brickwork, like the foundation, as far as the concrete barrier, it's still there. That
Yeah.
wasn't damaged, so.
yeah,
And with those, we had discussed that the price of, because we eventually were going to remove the planters.
I don't remember from,
completely.
and I can't remember from the minutes, I can't remember what you guys decided on that one, if you decided removal or repair. The one across the street from,
Cause I've seen.
Bon Viet.
And that one was like, oh, gracious.
off the top of my head, I can't remember what you decided on that. 'Cause that was a while back.
No.
We have a record of whether they approved,
Okay.
removal or repair, and that one I'm not sure. I do know that that's going through the insurance process right now.
Okay.
Okay.
It's not so much that removal is because it's damaged, too much to repair. It's more in line with, we've got a long-term plan that we're trying to put together.
I've seen it.
And a lot of those things, I mean, eventually.
Eventually, they're all gonna go away
Right, so.
and be replaced with ground level planters, planting
That
beds.
we're getting rid of.
No, I've seen the long-term plan, I've seen some of that stuff, I'm just, you know, in the meantime, it's kind of, I mean, honestly, one of the things I found out with LaPorte was those planters, I mean, it's like, there's some consistency of like beautiful, you know, flower landscaping that pulls the city together, that made it quaint, so, you know, long-term, it's like, how long is it gonna be until we actually get into the transitional phase where we get those lower beds, where we have an empty corner? So that's just my concern with those. So,
And then we also look at, we get an estimate, and then we find out what insurance is going to pay.
yeah,
And if it will pay to fix, we fix. If it, depending on, sometimes it costs more to take it out than it does to fix it, and vice versa.
and that was in the back of my mind.
Yeah,
It's like,
and-
wouldn't it cost more to just remove that planter because, I mean, to me as a contractor, which we've built many of those, it's like, it would be a lot less to fix it just to have it in the meantime.
It's about $4,500 to fix one on average, and about $7,500 to replace, or to remove one.
Good to know.
Yeah, and a lot of it is
Some of them
to,
have been hit 4 times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the last couple years, and we continue to, we have a replacement, we have a request for repair on the agenda tonight because of its prominent location.
Yeah, and then also, what's in here, we've had someone approach us with an easier way and a less expensive way to repair them, so we've started working with them as well. They actually, I think their son hit one, and then he was looking into ways, and that's what his company does, so.
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
So we're also trying to find ways to repair them
Yeah.
more economically.
Lindsay did find it in the minutes from the March meeting that we just discussed that it happened and that's filed with insurance and that we should be getting insurance money, but not that we've made a decision on that.
Oh, we have not made a decision?
Yeah.
Okay.
to assess the quote
And I don't think the insurance money's final yet, so.
Yeah.
Unless for some reason that, I'll check with Jamie and find out what she knows about what the status of that one is.
Okay, finances.
And then so that's what happened in May, and then I have 4 vouchers to consider for payment tonight. Lindsay for 5 months of secretarial service to the board, $250. Perennials Galore for the planting of the planters and the annual maintenance, so that's $35,000.
Now with that, did they add any extra costs for soil?
No.
Okay,
This was plant and then maintenance.
okay,
This is the 29 and the 6.
okay.
Which is our usual.
Yep.
Yeah, they said that they, well, we'll get to planters, but they said that they had to add extra soil on some of them, so I didn't know if he was gonna put it on this bill or the next one.
And maybe they'll bill us separately for
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. And then 2 sets of invoices from Amy. One for the weekly maintenance, 4 weeks, $500, $2,000 total. And watering of planters, which is another consideration as to whether we keep or whatever. But watering planters from May 24th through today, $1,543.85. That was 4 services. So,
I have a question. So maintenance is not considered watering for the planters? It's
No.
completely separate?
We had it- So prior to this, as of last year sometime, We had irrigation downtown, and so much damage has been done to the irrigation system over the years from various construction projects that we only ended up with 3 regular planters, I think it was, and a handful of small, like, tree lawn areas that were working, period, throughout the entire system. And we have 140-ish, 139 planters, and I don't remember how many zones it was off the top of my head, but it was a lot. 85 zones or something like that for watering, and only 10 of them were working. So we decided to abandon our downtown irrigation system, and go with watering.
So what is maintenance?
The
Maintenance
weeding.
is weeding.
Weeding?
Yeah. Weeding and taking out of the dead ones and,
Planting.
yeah, no, planting is a separate one.
So they supply plants,
No,
and then they also go through and pre and post the growing season. And then during growing season, if we have an issue, they also address it at that point. And it as talking about, it includes weeding and whatnot, so.
But watering is separate, because we used to just make repairs to our irrigation system and use it, and then, but the last couple years, the irrigation system died, basically. And, so we just pay for weekly, twice a week, right? Oh, three times a week.
It depends on the weather.
Depends on the weather, watering.
okay, I just needed that clarification, because, I mean, you know, I own a landscape company, so maintenance is watering, so I didn't know if that was separate.
It never had been in the past because we watered ourselves, and now it's, yeah. And our contract with perennials has been the same for a number of years. It didn't include watering, because we had our own watering system before. Mhm.
That's the 4 that I have.
Okay.
Anybody else has any questions? Be happy to entertain a motion to pay everybody.
Motion to approve the claims.
Second.
Oh, I was saying, you have to do the motion. I was asking for, I can't make a motion. I was asking for someone to make the motion.
Oh, I will motion.
There we go.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, Craig Maintenance.
All right, I just have one request for repair, and then I'll talk about the inventory. The first thing is you have a copy of an estimate for repair from LaFever and Sons, to repair the concrete cap on the planter box, again, at the southwest corner of Lincoln Way and Monroe, which has been clipped again, and it's a small repair this time, so it's repairing the cap only. But the corner, it looks pretty bad, and with 4th of July coming up, we want to try to get this done. He can get it done before the 4th of July, so he's given us an estimate of $1,500 to repair that cap. And that's one that we just continue to repair because of its prominence and all that.
Safety.
So, and, yeah, and it protects the building from potentially getting hit as well. So, if you have any questions about that one. We had talked previously about possibly working with LaFever on the cheaper options for repairs when it's just like a cap that's chipped or, partially missing or whatever. So this is the first time well, no, we did it one other time, I think.
Yeah.
This is the second time we've used him for this.
Do we know the first one? Any complaints about the first one?
No, I think he did Madison.
Yeah.
He did the one on Madison by now what's the senior center in the, cardiovascular building. And I think it looks good. I mean, yeah, I don't think we have any complaints or concerns. He actually, I don't know if you guys know this, but he was actually involved in the installation. His family actually was one of the ones involved in the installation of the planters when they were originally installed. So they're kind of like special to him too, because he wants to fix them for us because he helped install them back in the day, in the 90s. Yep, 1,500.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay. We already talked about the planter across from Bonviet. We just had repairs done, like I said, on the planter in front of the courthouse. It looked awful, and Paul's did a nice job on repairing that. We'll be working out the insurance details of that and getting you that money soon, from what I understand, based on a conversation that Jamie had with the insurance company today. Other than that, I'm not aware of anything, well, I am aware of other damage, but I had to get the bricks and all that, bricks and pavers done before we go out and assess other things, because we usually do an annual assessment of our assets. Haven't had any time to do anything but pavers, and walk all of those with Jay, from Paul's. So the next thing is, I gave you each a copy of, it's a stack of pages, basically it's an atlas of our, blocks that are in the bid district. And if you want to try to interpret my scratches here, anything that's circled is considered bad enough that it was something I'm asking Jay for an estimate on. There were some cases where there may be 1 or 2 bricks chipped or missing, where I didn't ask for that. But if you kind of go block by block, so block 1 by the senior center, I don't know which entrance the seniors actually come in and out of, if they come in and out of Lincoln Way or on Madison. But since the senior center is in that building and there are several bricks missing and chipped, I thought that's one that we wanted to add to the list. He's also gonna take a look at where I have X's there that say maybe, just because it's in the same block. Block 2 is behind Horizon Bank and Newbie Lewis. He's gonna give me a quote for replacing that entirely with concrete or just fixing pavers. It's about 200 pavers, total, which is a pretty sizable amount. That's what's going on there. Let's see. Oh, ignore the remove on block 3, that we fixed. That was the planner. Block 4, is in front of PNC Bank. There's a few missing bricks in front of PNC Bank, and there's a pipe that's sticking up out of the sidewalk. That's an old meter pipe, I think, that I don't know why we haven't addressed yet, but he said he would just cut it off for us as part, he's gonna give us an estimate for that. Block 5 is the biggie. That's the Rumley complaint. It's nitpicky, but we have to address it and at least respond to it. It's mainly areas where we have tree wells that have either been pushed up because of the tree roots or sinking areas next to curbs where the bricks are sinking somewhat next to the curbs. And because it's in a senior housing development, we need to take the complaints and concerns seriously. So we at least need to get estimates and then decide how we want to move forward.
We're getting concrete estimate on this, around the Rumley, aren't we? I think
On the north side, he's giving us a concrete estimate on the north side, on Jefferson, because there's a couple spots where there's so much difference in height between the curb and the tree wall that he doesn't think he can actually fit bricks in there, so he's probably just gonna pour concrete to match the slope from the top of the tree well to the curb.
Because I thought also with the seniors that we were looking at concrete, so they wouldn't have.
Well, we are, but that's a big project. You're talking about the entire removal of bricks and,
Well, we were gonna look at the assessment area and just see which made more sense, but that was one I know that we
well,
looked
so
at.
where it says sinking, that's just one layer of bricks along the curbs that Jay can pretty easily just fix. He can just kinda jack those up. The majority of the walkway is actually not in bad shape.
Okay,
It's just a few areas that are kind of where we have a brick sticking up or mainly it's sinking. The biggest complaints they had were sinking. I can get an estimate for replacing the entire thing with concrete.
well, no, we thought the area was bigger, and since it was with the seniors.
It is
just
big,
In
but
general with
after
walkers and
we
canes and
assessed
all
it, it
that.
wasn't quite as bad as we originally thought.
Okay,
But it is bad enough that we need to address it, and there's some distance involved because it's the entire frontage along, like, the parking spots along the front of the Rumley along Michigan, they're all kind of sinking. So, he's giving us estimates of all that. Block 6, really wasn't anything, major at least. Block 7, there's a handful of pavers that need to be fixed around Enzo. same as last year. But the biggest and the worst spot is in front of Smutzer's.
And what about Ogles, cause he came in,
No.
stuff there. I know he talked about the plowing, but I thought he also mentioned the,
I can look at that again.
Yeah.
And I did notice there's a spot where there's some bricks sinking, in front of the Natural Health Food Store.
I mean, they're right next to Enzo, so he may be looking
I think
at
he's
the
looking
whole
at both,
thing there.
yeah,
but-
I think he's assessing all that. But Smutzer's is the really bad one where their
Yeah.
bricks are completely gone, and we have a barrel sitting over one spot. Block 8, right across the street here, there's an area that's pretty bad where the state redid a crosswalk at the corner, Monroe and Jefferson, and in the process of doing that, Jay thinks that maybe they just didn't compact the dirt enough. The entire thing is sinking and caving. And so he's gonna he wants to give us a quote for replacing the entire, like, 3 feet worth of brick from that concrete at the corner back. It's just cause it's just all out of whack. There's a spot behind the Schmidt-Kaler building at their service entrance that's bad. They replaced some, apparently as part of replacing their pad to their service entrance, but there's some missing bricks around both their service entrance as well as the front entrance.
I walked this block today as part of my task. There's more areas of damage.
Yeah, I don't get nitpicky, okay, so I just, there's an area where I say seam, for example, where the bricks are kind of pushing up on a seam.
Just for example, next to Bentley Byler's building on the corner of the road and Lincoln Way, there's missing bricks right along the edge of his building.
Missing bricks?
Missing bricks. Yes.
Hmm.
And almost every light pole along Lincoln Way and that section of Monroe has substantial settlement issues, like you're saying, so. just-
Right, but I mean, we can only do so much every time. We did $55,000 worth of work 2 years ago. It was a lot, and we're already up to a significant amount of repairs with what I've already addressed, or what I've already identified. And I've tried to identify the worst areas, because the number of those is significant. But I did notice, like in front of Black Rock, for example, there's an area where there's kind of a seam where it's pushing up, and it's a concern. It just comes to a point where how much can we do? Because we only have X number of dollars. Block 9, there's an area that's pretty bad in front of Fresco. The entire kind of frontage of Fresco is, since they like to have outdoor dining out there, we don't want people walking out to outdoor dining and tripping, going from their restaurant to the outdoor dining areas and things like that. So he's gonna give me a quote on that. Really nothing in block 10 to speak of. Block 11 wasn't too bad, by comparison to other areas. Block 12 wasn't too bad in comparison to other areas. Block 13 wasn't too bad. Block 14 is there's a spot that's really bad where the sidewalk is basically missing, or where the pavers are basically missing beside the, kind of the back corner of the mattress store on, Clay, halfway through the block on the, by the alley. That needs to be completely reconstructed. And then, in front of Bon Viet, there's some sinking, there in that block. That's noted.
Yeah, we've had a couple, like, 3 or 4, like, older people.
Yeah, so that's in there. Yep. Block 15, there are a couple of areas, but they're not as bad as others. And then block 16, nothing. Block 17 is, it's an area where tree roots have pushed up, pretty badly. And, it's across the street from Bon Viet,
By Flagstaff, right?
Yes.
by Flagstar. Yep, that one's bad. And then block 18 isn't too bad. There's a few missing, there's kind of a few crumbling bricks here and there, but not as bad as others. So that's kind of my overall assessment, and I kind of limited it to the worst of the worst, because there's enough of those now, and now that I know what I know about what it cost us to do the repairs last time, I didn't want to bring you every little brick. In addition to that, you have a copy of a map that was put together by Liz. And if I understand this correctly, the yellow areas are the worst. So we already talked about 31, which was the, next to the mattress store. I'm sorry, 31 is across the street from Bon Viet by Flagstar.
Red is the
Uh,
worst that need to be, in my opinion, taken care of immediately.
Is it
And then,
red?
yeah, the deteriorating ones are the ones where it's crumbling.
Immediate, it says immediate issue yellow.
Oh, dark yellow, yes, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I have two
So
yellows.
the Flagstar one we
Yeah.
talked about, that's on there. The one next to the mattress store is on there. And there's one that was south of Coachman, but on the other side of the
36, yeah.
street that I didn't catch. I don't know how. It started raining when I was doing this at the last,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
toward
same.
the end of it, and that was kind of where I was toward the end. So that's just to give you a heads up of what, there may be more issues. It's a lot of ground to cover. So to be honest, it's a lot of ground to assess. So between Liz and I, we thought we did a pretty decent job of trying to cover all of it. I may have missed a few things here and there. But the really bad ones are the ones I addressed and asked Jay to give us quotes on. It's gonna be a pretty high bill because of the Rumley. That one might even have, I don't know, we might even have to have discussion with the mayor on that one. I don't know. Cause we've received a complaint, he received it through his office. We have to at least address it, respond to it. Even if we don't repair everything, we need to have at least a discussion on it. And, but yeah, just wanted to share the inventory with you, and, I'll make notes of the things that you mentioned. You said by downtown to lights.
Yes, I'm aggressive.
Find the right block here. You said there's some missing bricks. Mm-hmm. Here we go. How far down, do you remember?
I got photos.
There is a dot on there. It might be where that orange dot is. That's from a previous assessment. Some of that we addressed last time, some of it we didn't.
Along where the platform is to get into the,
Maybe said it's by the ramps.
It's by the ramps?
yeah.
Oh, that. Okay, yeah, so that is the orange dot that's on here. So I can, okay, I can circle that.
Speak up, see if you're telling us where it is.
So, yeah, so it has, we have an orange dot on there. It says it's a rating of 2, which is pretty bad. So, this was based on the rating that David did for you guys, David in my office did for you guys last year. So, yeah. Thoughts, questions, other concerns? It's been quite the undertaking to figure this all out. I thought we were gonna be under the gun to get a lot of this done for the 4th of July like we did last year and the year before, but Lincoln Way is actually not in very bad shape, for the most part. So, because we did so much work on Lincoln Way last time.
It's the side streets mainly.
We did a lot of work on Lincoln Way, we did a lot of work on front of Enzo, and around City Hall, I remember that. But it's mainly the side streets this time.
And I would think on the side streets, the ones on Monroe should be pretty important with the farmer's market and the splash pad and all
Yeah,
the events and things like that.
yeah. So we'll get them scheduled, once we decide what we're willing to pay. But we won't be under the gun to get them done before 4th of July. So,
I have a comment. I still have one pallet of brick pavers in back of my building.
okay, we'll use those to make repairs once you're done. You talking about the ones you took out?
Yeah, it is from like last year.
Yeah, so I guess we'll just ask, we could either ask the street department to come get them, or,
I think if Jay's gonna do the work, he can just grab them there on his trailer.
he could, we have two different types.
Correct.
So, are they the red ones or the tan ones? Or the grayer ones? Okay,
Did he say when he was going to get the estimate back? Like, are you going to need to email us to do
he wants
something
me to
before the
send
next meeting?
him, so we just did this, he and I just did this Thursday. And I was out Friday, so I was going to email him this today, I didn't get around to it, so I'm gonna email him the set of sheets, so he can compare his notes to mine and get us the estimates, so we'll definitely have the estimates in time for your next meeting.
Okay, I just didn't know if you would need us before then,
There might be a couple spots where
the hot spots at least,
there might be like in front of Smutzer's, and next to the mattress place, and
the Rumley.
maybe the Rumley. Yeah, we'll see what he comes back with. Maybe the Rumley in stages. Maybe addressing some of the tripping hazard ones, where there's actually like a brick that's literally popping up out of the sidewalk next to a tree grate. Like, that one needs to be dealt with. But the ones where there's just a slight depression between the curb and the pavers, I mean, yeah, we have to decide. We can almost paint the curb in the meantime to address the, immediate concern. It might be cheaper and easier to do that in the short term than to, I don't know. We'll see what happens when we get the estimates from Jay. So I think he'll be able to turn those around to us pretty quickly. So as soon as I get them, I'll share them with you guys by email, even before the next meeting.
Have
So.
we sent anything to the Rumley yet?
Jeff Batchelor is supposed to be in contact with the Rumley.
Okay.
Because the complaint originally came through the mayor's office, so it's going back through the mayor's office via Jeff. Yeah. No, it's just time consuming, but well, and then you forget an area, and you didn't realize you forgot an area. Like apparently I forgot a block, or a block face. So, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And I can see the writing on the wall with some areas that are starting to crumble, but they haven't completely fallen apart, and, yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so we're just gonna wait on,
I'll get
Paul's
the
then-
estimates.
yep.
I'll get the estimates and send those to you guys as soon as I get them.
yeah, thank you for getting them out
We'll go
there.
from there. And maybe we'll do an emergency vote on some and not others, and yeah.
And then, on maintenance, Tommy had the photos that you had sent of the semi taking off the light pole, or hitting the light pole and moving it and pulling it off of the base a bit.
Yes, I don't know how stable that is.
Where's this? Okay.
I texted you those photos, it was last week.
Yeah.
So everyone knows I was working in the building, I just heard this like boom, 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 boom. And what it was a semi with a cargo container on it. And as the ripples, he was coming apart from my building, and the ripples in the cargo container, he was hitting the arm of the banners. And the light pole literally went this way, was out this much off.
Ongoing battle.
So I took photos of the truck, the license plate, and details of how it's moved. But yeah, I just, I don't know how stable it is. For the long-term plan, it would be something considered like move or something with banners, cause those arms, they're like right at the curb line. But when a truck comes, because of the slope,
Otherwise, that's all I have for now. It's enough.
Okay, that's something that we will have to look into to check the stability of it and see with what the information that you have in the, license plate and all of that information, if there's an insurance claim to be put in for that, and what can be done about that.
Yeah, I just wanna make everyone aware of it. I mean, what we've got.
Thank you, Craig.
So noted, I'll have Jamie look into the insurance. Jamie look into the insurance aspect of it.
And I'll forward you the email that I. Okie dokie, flowers and planters, that would be me. They planted the flowers. They weeded the beds, and in the process, they did have to use a few more bags of soil that, because we haven't replaced it over the past few years. And they said that that will be added onto one of the bills. And that's it.
Do we not? There was a question about whether or not we installed one of the, I'm trying to think of what it, there was a vine, I can't think of the,
The potato, like,
potato vine, yeah. Whether or not we installed potato vine this year or not.
They typically do. I
Typically do,
didn't,
but
yeah.
It's definitely there.
You've seen it? So maybe there was just one planter where they missed it or something, cause there was somebody asking about, I literally got a question about potato vine and why we didn't install potato vine. So, they typically do, and it is nice because
Mhm.
No, they
It
will.
fills in.
it fills the,
Yeah, no, definitely.
I just wondered. So
Okay.
you guys have seen potato vine in other locations. I've been so busy with other things, I haven't been able to pay attention to the
if
plant
the potato
material.
vines are there.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
Just tell me which bed it is. I'll
Julie will vouch for me. So I was just curious if anybody knew that. So yes, we do have potato vine out there?
It's,
Absolutely.
Okay, good.
According to the bill, we have two different kinds.
Yes,
Ooh.
you do.
Just sweet potato and regular, yeah.
Okay.
They're both sweet potato, one is a marguerite, and one is a blackie.
Okay.
Frank, you can say yes, not only do we have them, but we have two.
Well, maybe they missed one. I don't know.
It happens. You're planting, when you're planting that fast, it's like rubber.
Well, and they have so many different crews
Yeah,
working in
it
the
happens
area.
all the time.
Yeah. Well, someone was distraught because theirs didn't have potato vine.
You know which one you're.
I don't remember. The concern came from Annette, so I'll ask Annette. She must have gotten it through her office. I'll ask Annette if she knows who that is.
okay. Just, if you find out, just send me a message and I will check into,
Yeah, cause they'll,
Potato.
they'll put it in if it didn't get installed, obviously.
Brad.
Not really much of a report on trees. I know Tucker was in last month and he said that I had either as far as.
No.
It was just a new setup where people make a request for removal or looking through the city.
Mhm.
I do know we have a request coming down the line. I don't know how we feel about it, but I think Fresco's requesting the removal of a tree. But, that's what we assess. So the city forester, will assess it and determine whether it's diseased or damaged or not. And we don't just remove trees for the sake of removing trees.
long-term design.
I have no report other than Craig, is there been a decision made on the test?
No, this is me. I've just been so busy with other things that I've had to put Joel off for a month, to have him come in and determine which test block we're gonna do and which alley test block we're gonna do. I need to get it in front of the redevelopment commission for consideration, and it's just on my list of things to get to, and yeah, just haven't gotten there, so.
For Hitchcock Design that developed the palette for proposed
600 will.
downtown design,
Yeah, it's not.
Well, it's not gonna be Lincoln Way.
and so
It won't be Lincoln Way, because until we're able to redo Lincoln Way completely.
I volunteer.
I beat you to it, and he's telling
I'm
me
sure
no.
There is tribute.
So it won't be Lincoln Way, because Lincoln Way is a special case, like it's gonna have to have its own full design if the state ever relinquishes
Yeah, no,
or
absolutely.
allows us control. So it's gonna either be on Jefferson or Michigan or not state, cause state's the higher end design as part of the plaza concept. So it's most likely gonna be on Jefferson or Michigan somewhere, most likely.
You do a half block It's only one side of the street.
True.
If they did our
I was just
block-
looking at
if
the
they did our
budget, that's
block,
all.
They'd be helping the runway too, so see how that.
Oh, well, I was just looking at the
This is
budget,
true.
saying it's only half a block.
It very well could be your block.
Yeah,
It very well could be your block. I mean, the block between Michigan and Indiana is, on Jefferson, is highly likely. The other one would be, Michigan between, Michigan between Lincoln Way and Jefferson. One of those two is probably very highly likely the test block. So, I just don't want you getting mad at me if you don't like it, and then we have to fix things.
And they have 4 partners, they have 4 different opinions.
That's
so
true, yeah.
One of them will not like it.
Yeah,
Probably be mine.
thanks, Mike. No, so anyway, that's coming down the pike. I just need to connect with Joel and get that in front of the redevelopment commission.
Okie dokie. Do we have any old business that we need to go over? Do we have any new business? Announcements though, Courtney is not here today, and Courtney is not here because she had her baby. And, yep, so she just sent the message on that.
Patty's not joining us because,
She thought it was next week.
Okay,
She responded to me.
okay.
So she knows she'll be on the right schedule next month then?
I will text her before I come and make sure we come together.
Yeah, that's, I was gonna say, I will
Okay.
text her instead of just emailing. And anything else going on?
Motion to adjourn.
Have motion? Second? We are adjourned.